Hi, this is AstrologerCoach Sonja Francis, and today we're going to be talking about the upcoming full moon in 2 degrees of Capricorn on June 23rd at 7:33 a.m. New York time, and that is also 4:33 a.m. Los Angeles time. Now, the full moon is always an emotional time, is when something comes to fruition or when something becomes into our awareness that's been brewing in the background or in our unconscious, and now it's coming to the surface and it can be addressed. We can actually see it now. And we're trying to find a balance between two energies, and sometimes this can be experienced in our relationships where one person holds one energy, the other person holds the other energy. Now with this full moon, this has to do with Capricorn and Cancer. Now with the moon in Capricorn very close to Pluto, we need to address our deepest and maybe also darkest feelings about our need for power and control in the world or in our world. And we also need to get more connected to our passions about building something of value or wanting to leave something behind for society or for the world. So the question here is, how can we contribute or leave something behind that makes the world a better place? Now, of course, we also need to address the sun in Cancer with this full moon. And the sun in Cancer is very close to Jupiter this time around. And Jupiter is in 29 degrees of Gemini, which is the last degree of a sign. And it's therefore also an exalted degree. So the Jupiter energy in Gemini is very strong. We're being invited to update our perspectives about our feelings, about outdated ideas or conditionings that we've had from childhood, and also about how we feel about asking for help, or how we feel about talking about our feelings or our needs. So it's really a need to address our feelings, our needs, and ultimately being able to receive from other people or receive from ourselves. So the balance here with this full moon really is between giving to our inner selves and giving to the outside world, or receiving what we need to feel nourished and nurtured, and giving back to the world once we've received that. So with Saturn being the ruler of Capricorn and that being in Scorpio right now, we are also being invited to face our deepest fears, so we can release them and feel more empowered, and we can actually step into the world fully empowered and make something happen that's really powerful. Now, when fears do show up within these next 2 weeks, I just want to invite you to welcome the fear, or to just allow the fear and observe the fear. And just know that whenever something comes up in us, whenever we're facing something, we're actually ready to deal with it. We're ready to address it. We're ready to move through it. So just know that if something does show up, you are ready. You're ready to release it, and just allow for that energy to move through you, because fear is just energy. It's just our resistance towards something, our not wanting to experience something. It's a lot of times it comes from our conditioning. So definitely allow for these fears to come up and be dealt with. Being authentic is also something really important with Saturn in Scorpio. We want to be authentic about who we are in our relationships, and we also want to be passionate about what we're building long term. If we're having any long-term goals, we want to make sure that we actually feel really aligned with those long-term goals and really passionate about them, like from an emotional place, from a deeper place, not just from up here. So it's not about needing to that we should feel deep about something, or we should feel connected to something. It's really about, are we actually feeling connected to it? Are we actually passionate about it? So this is really important with Saturn in Scorpio. Now the sun in Cancer is making a grand trine with Saturn and also with Neptune in Pisces. So we're really getting a lot of support with this full moon as well on an emotional level. We're getting a chance to dive deeper with ourselves and with other people. And we're also getting a real support from our higher selves, from the universe, that intuition, that sensing, that feeling. We're really able to tap into that more fully if we're allowing that, if we're opening up to that. And so this full moon really is an opportunity to get clear about our needs, to take responsibility for what they are, to take care of them, and then to step into the world fully empowered because we have taken care of ourselves and, ready to give back to other people at what we're good at, at what we feel passionate about. Now, we need to make sure, of course, that we have eaten ourselves, that we've nourished ourselves before we let other people pick from our plate or let other people nourish from us. So this is very important because we can't do anything meaningful in society or at the world at large if we're not taking care of our own needs, if we're not knowing what those needs are, or if we don't communicate them, if we don't ask for help. These are very essential things. So again, we need to find this balance so we can step out into the world and do what we feel passionate about, what we want to share with others. So really good things to ask yourself during this full moon, during these next 2 weeks after June 23rd, is what am I denying myself? What am I denying myself that I really need to give to myself so that I can step into the world more fully, right? And so what is still holding me back to do that? What is still holding me back to step into the world more fully? And you also can ask yourself, if you're having a sort of a hard time with what your needs are, or how to find that balance, you can ask yourself, where am I feeding others before I have nourished myself? You can see, where does this play out in my life, or where have I been conditioned to believe that that's okay to feed others before I can actually be there for myself. So we also, you can ask yourself, what if I took 100% responsibility for that? What if I really took responsibility for the fact that I need to be there for myself first before I can be there for others? And so, this is very important, this responsibility part, which is also the Saturn in Scorpio. It's very important that we have that with other people, because if we don't take responsibility, then we just start to blame other people for our own misery, or we start to resent other people because they're, it seems like they're taking from us or they're draining us, not realizing that we maybe have not set healthy boundaries, or maybe we have not taken care of ourselves first before we have taken care of others. So this is all very important. I think it's a really good thing to address, during this full moon. So finding that balance between receiving and giving, between connecting on an emotional level and understanding what's needed so that you can function fully and step out into the world is very important. Now, if you have any personal planets like the Sun, the Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, your rising sign or your career point in 2 to 5 degrees of Cancer, Capricorn, Libra, or Aries, you're definitely going to feel this full moon more strongly. However, of course, all of us are going to feel the full moon in some way or another, somewhere in our chart. So feel free to reach out if you have any questions about the full moon. I'd be happy to support you with a reading. You can email me either at Sonja@astrologercoach.com. That's SONJA@astrologercoach.com. Or you can go to my website and see what's available in terms of services. Also, I wanted to mention, if you do want to dabble your toes a little bit in the waters of astrology, if you want to learn about astrology a little bit more, I am starting a basics course on June 22nd. So if you're watching this before June 22nd, feel free to email me right away and ask me if you can still join our course. If you would have to email me before Friday night, which is June 21st. And if you are seeing this video after June 22nd, then feel free to reach out and ask me for the basics course, for the recording of the basics course, which is also going to be available once the course is finished, which is a 6-week course. And also for the new dates that are going to come up in the fall for the basics course. All right, so have a fantastic full moon. Take really good care of yourself. Really ask yourself how you can step more fully into your passion, into the world. And I hope you have a great time. And this is Astrologer Coach Sonja Francis. Goodbye.